think there's a better future for us and for our children. And it doesn't have to be hard or frightening. It's an empowering thing.
Welcome to the home of marine industry insights. This is the Ben Taylor Podcast. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Ben Taylor Podcast. Today we've got an organisation that does a lot of very interesting work as a charity based around conservation and a lot of very, very clever efforts that the industry loves. I think that's the general feeling. So I'm here with Jill. Nice to see you, Jill.
Lovely to be here. Hello.
Hello. So let's have an introduction first. So introduce yourself and your role so we have a bit of context.
Sure. Well, I'm Jill Rodriguez. I'm with the International Seakeepers Society, and we work with private yachts around the world, supporting ocean conservation, research and education. It's basically in a nutshell what we do, and we're here now at the Dubai Boat Show.
Yes, and I think it's really clever the way you go about doing this thing. So could you describe a typical activity that's a result of the Seakeepers work?
Yes, of course. We've been doing this for about 27 years now, so quite some time. What we try and do is we will meet with an owner of a boat, and we'll find out what his interests is, what their interests are. And I think it's really important that you do that at the very beginning, because some people they want to travel around the world, but they want a reason to do that, or they want to go to places they've never been before, or they're regularly going to the same spot, they don't know very much about it.
Okay, so where's their adventure in now? What's the excitement there? You can do more things.
You can do more,
Yeah.
and I think most people on the water have an interest in what's happening with the ocean, and they can see the changes, but they don't know what to do about it, and they're frightened to ask. Because if they start asking, people start hitting them over the head, big balance about bad news. So, once we find out what they like, we match them with a project which we feel they will be interested in getting involved with. Now, if they're going up to the Arctic, say to Greenland, we're on a great project on polar bears. So we say, why don't you and your guests get involved with this project and support the real scientists, support this expert, because we work with experts. So it's a win-win. The expert gets the opportunity to do their research, but also sharing that information with the owners and their guests, crew, their charter guests.
Textbook win-win. And normally to do research that might take place in these kind of activities, first of all, there'd be a big cost of hiring the vessel. I have minded the time and go out and get to these destinations. And so there's a really nice focus on efficiency there, because it's notoriously expensive to do this kind of research. So there's a massive cost saving from the research point of view. And then also, this is the perfect win-win of actually guests on board, have something to get involved in, a bit of a sense of purpose and something they could do more than just kind of use a like on board, something interesting.
Yeah, it's true. Researchers, they are given funds for another grant to do that research, and they have to allocate that funds. Now, a large amount of that funds is going to go to charter the boat. Sometimes they can't charter the boat. They have to wait for years to get the funds to charter the boat. If we come along and say we could help you with that, it means their money goes purely into the research, and that's what it's all about. We want them to do the work they need to do. Now, for the owner, they get a really big feel-good from that. Also, sometimes we have owners aren't on board, guests aren't on board, it's the crew. So the owner knows the crew is going to be doing something that they're enjoying. You often find the captain derives that, because the captain has a love for the ocean too.
Do you find a lot of captains with values around this? Because I remember in Antigua, did you hear their interview with Seakeepers on board on Bridle?
Oh,
Captain Liam?
Yes.
And he's literally through and through, he's like a huge value of this boat, and obviously himself arriving as captain.
Yeah.
It's sustainability. So when an organisation like Seakeepers comes along, we say, well, there's a lot we can do together on that front. It's really embraced by the captain.
It is, and the captains become lovely, really. We have the same captain for years, and they go from boat to boat, and wherever they go, they'll say to the owners, this could be something you might be interested in. And often we will work through the captain, because more often than not, the captain is the one that makes things happen for us. So once we have a captain working with us, we never lose them. They do become Seakeepers family, and that's what we love.
Yeah, they fly the flag. Right?
Yes!
Yeah.
I go around shows and I'll see them.
Yeah.
Wherever I go in the world, there'll be a captain going, Seakeepers. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. And so how do these kind of emerge? So how do you create that relationship with as many captains, as many vessels as possible, to make sure this research can happen in lots of different parts of the world on lots of different boats?
The most important thing is boots on the ground. Now, we're quite a small, tight teams, but we have, although we're headquartered in, what's that?
Often the best small tight teams,
yes.
like the big mission, very few people well placed to
Focus on it. So we're headquartered in Miami, but we have chapters around the world. In Singapore, we cover Asia, and in Auckland, we're the South Pacific. In fact, we're just officially launching that, although we've been going for over a year now there. I'm in the UK, and I'm in the UK and Europe. We have a chapter in Bangladesh. We're also working up and down the East Coast, the East Coast, the West Coast of the US. So we make sure that we are there and we're seen. But the really most important thing is not just to be there and be seen and to be having a glass of wine and talking, is to actually connect with people and do what you say. So when we say to someone, let's work together, what's your interest? Is it having a scientist on board, or is it doing some citizen science where we'll say, can you test the water when you're going from A to B for us? And then we follow up and they see the impact and they know what they're doing and why they're doing it. And then they're also told, and this result has gone into this final report. So then people come back and they say, we'd like to do it again. And here's my mate. By the way, I've got a cousin over there.
Yeah, so the organic spread is actually really, really strong.
Yes.
I think a big driver of that is also seeing the impact. Because a lot of what decisions are made around sustainable, maybe you're purchasing a product and you buy into the sustainable messaging and say, okay, that's a more sustainably produced product or whatever, you buy it. You very often don't actually see the impact or the difference that made. And so how do you create that feedback to people who made it happen? Do you give them kind of a report? Is it just from the scientists being on board and seeing it? How do they really get a sense of the difference you made?
There was a couple of things there. We have this program called the Green Marine Program. And that is where we help people make informed decisions. So we start off, when you become a discovery yacht, and that's someone who signs up and says, I'm up for the challenge, what can you do together? Where's the adventure? We give them a welcome pack, and in there is a very large net, which you can use for your laundry, or you can do beach collections with it, or you can collect up plastic bottles in your boat. You know, whatever you want to do, you use that net to collect, and that's the first step. And then in there are products that you can use which have good green credentials, and we know that they are working, that people are using them and they come from good sources. But also with the Green Marine program has a guide which gives you ideas on how to operate a boat, what cleaning products to use, how to behave, how to know what to do when you come into a port. And the Green Marine program works all the way around the world, so we have the knowledge from all different regions about what's their specific rules and regulations if we go into that port. So in that way we will help people make informed decisions. Most of the time they know a lot themselves, but a little bit of support is nice. And a cap and a water bottle and cleaning products.
Who doesn't love that?
And we work with some fabulous companies. I won't name any of them because I'll leave someone out and it'll be
Fair enough.
But then when we find that someone says interested in coral reef restoration, we will introduce them to researchers who are focusing on that. And then they become part of that project. So they can see what their research is going towards or what their support has gone towards, that final end published paper, I suppose.
As a result of it, And you mentioned a lot about different regions around the world. Because you can't just start something like this and you could operate it locally, but Seakeepers is very, very international and trying to cover the world. What's happening in this particular region? So we're here in Dubai, we're in the UAE. Is this an interesting market? You're expanding in it. How are you going about doing that?
This is a fascinating market.
It is really interesting.
And we love being here. This is our third boat show. We love being here because of the energy and the enthusiasm of this community, and the openness to saying what can we do and how can we do it, and also the ability to actually make a change. You can say make the decision to do so.
I've heard so much about this in the last few days about just being open to change. Like even from a regulatory point of view, they've essentially said, well, help us, how could we operate more effectively and more efficiently? Okay, let's embrace that, let's create legislation around being more efficient. And you can actually see it in the people here. I mean, the world meets in Dubai is like the phrase that as a destination it champions. But there's so many different nationalities, which brings so many different fashions and opportunities here.
And the right ideas they have coming at you.
And so you end up with this kind of encouragement to say, all right, what are you doing? There's enthusiasm from minute one, hearing you out. And even if it's a grand, massive mission, it's embraced. Okay, so how do we make steps towards that? I feel like that's the theme of what's happening here with with building the Seakeepers presence in the UAE?
It isn't, because there's so much development for our industry in this region, from Shidala and Neom, and all the region is bustling and growing, and they're saying to yachts, leaving the Med, come here.
Yeah.
So if these boats are coming here, let's make sure that they behave in the right way when they come here, that they respect this new region and that they take care of it. And it's only the actual mariners that themselves are going to be able to show that, guide that. And if they're leading the way as a green marina already, what better credentials for that? And we want to be part of that.
Yeah, you seed it right now, so that whatever it grows into,
Yes.
it kind of blooms and you all grow together, and it just becomes something that the region's always done.
And it's possible here, whereas other countries perhaps takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
Lack of funding, more restrictions, regulations, whatever.
Yeah.
Here, everything is possible. So let's make it possible.
I've got a little bit of maybe a little bit more of a difficult question for you.
Okay, go for
So
it.
what's the big challenge in doing this kind of thing? So in terms of growing and getting it into different destinations, what's a big challenge that you face and it takes a lot of resource that you're trying to resolve at the moment?
Quite honestly, the biggest challenge for me is making sure, because I'm international relations, so I am the face that goes out to different countries, is to understand the cultural differences, which is really important. To listen to what they're saying to me and stop saying, no, this is the square hole, I need you to go into this hole. This is what I do, here it is, I've got my cards to take notes. To listen to what they want and then to find out what do we have, what do we do that could match what their need is.
Right, because an American might approach something completely different to a European, someone from the UK, in India, or here in the UAE and Australia. It's actually been a little bit more malleable, but that takes a lot of understanding to address the nuances.
And you can get it wrong.
Right, effective.
I did a presentation for some anglers down on the
Yeah.
south coast of England.
Right, yeah.
And we were studying, with funding in local universities, we were studying certain fish species. Because it's the protection, understanding how they populate, how they're breeding, where they are, seasonal. And I could see the people in the audience with their arms folded, their body language is wrong. And I said, I just need to stop. I said, something's not right. What is it that I'm saying is wrong? They said, we've looked you up. You're just big super yachts. What are you doing
Right,
there?
okay, yeah.
And also, we think you're going to create preservation areas, be preservation areas to stop us fishing and restrict what we can fish.
That's their livelihoods.
And we're not going to tell you how many fish we're seeing. And then I realised, and then I could then address that issue. And my error was not asking them straight up what could possibly be a reticence here.
Yeah, it wasn't the mission of Seakeepers, it was how it's communicated and approached in that particular region.
Yeah.
Had to be different to make sure it worked for that community.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
this the University of Portsmouth was just studying amounts. You know, what's out there? Where are they? They weren't then going to say, Tom, you can't bring your boat out this good to fish. It was never to do with restricting or legislation, it was purely awareness. So once I said that, and then I brought scientists in so they could meet the scientists, I said there's nothing secretly clear. And Seakeepers, yes, we were founded in Monaco, and yes, we are super yacht driven. However, we work with every vessel that's on the water. Because the thing at the heart of us is we are a private boating community, not a boating community. Anyone who has a boat can get involved and you'll find that project.
Okay, super, yeah, because any leisure craft under private ownership can help out. So appeal to them all. I don't know if a kayak would be helpful, but it could be the size of a kayak right up to some of
If
the
you're
large
looking for pollution, or if you're looking for reeds, anything that's happening in the water, if they can get into the nooks and crannies, they can see things that boats can't see. Yeah. Definitely. So I say to everyone, come on, just because it's called a discovery yacht, you can be small little whatever boat that goes out to the weekends. And also, one of our projects, Seabird 2030, which is mapping the ocean floor.
It's huge, yeah.
People say, well, I'm only just going between here and Southampton, or I don't really go out to the Mediterranean. Doesn't matter.
Right.
Every boat crosses.
Let's get that area. Let's contribute to the
It
database, then
makes
has
that
ticked off that region, you've done your little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you can see the difference as well.
And then we have a great new project with Ocean Watchers, Orca. It's to do orcas, it's to do whales, dolphins. It's what people are. It's purposefully that we go out in the water and say, I'm going to look between these hours and these hours here, and I will let you know what I see and where they are. And then I'll take photographs and I'll submit it.
So it's relatively easy to do.
Oh, everything is easy.
But the contribution, because there's so many people doing it,
Huge.
it's huge. Yeah.
It's huge. It's you won't believe that simple. We have another coral watch, and there's cold water corals, and there's also warm water corals. You know, we find out where are you going, and we'll let you know. These are all citizen science projects. There's water testing. What's in the water? In the water can be eDNA samples of great white sharks. So when you're pottering around the Med, you could be helping us find out other sharks out there.
That's cool.
Yeah, or it's, we're testing the water. So what kind of pollutants are in the water here? Is it microplastics? Is it sewage? Let us know what you're interested in. We'll match you up with something, and it will be fun.
Okay, super. And let's wrap up with a bit of a vision looking forward. This is definitely something. It's an infinite mission, as Simon Sinek says, is of just once you've done a bit, there's always more to go. It will forever continue. But what's the kind of next few months, few years that we can see from Seakeepers and kind of anticipate?
Well, we're growing. We're trying to grow steadily. So we're doing work in South Africa. We've just recently begun working in Cape Town.
Yeah.
We want as many people to get involved as can. We're working in Brazil. We're just launching the South Pacific. We feel that we want to reach out to connect with as many people as we can to see how they can support us. Because at the heart of all this is the ocean. And there are lots of people working out there, and if we can bring us all together under one umbrella, I think there's a better future for us and for our children. And it doesn't have to be hard or frightening. It's an empowering thing, and it means that you and your children will know what they can do to support the future of.
That's a brilliant mission to be involved in. Thank you very much for coming on the podcast, and as always, good to see you.
I've loved it. Thank you. Thank you.
You're very, very welcome. Thank you, everybody. I hope that's been insightful to you. We'll see you again on the next podcast. But for now, that is it. Ciao.